Are we rolling? I think we're rolling. Being weird is literally a superpower, and I think you need to embrace it. Today, I'm not gonna drink a coffee. Today, I just set my camera down, plotted it down, hit record. I've got somewhat of a topic. I have not written any of this down, but wanted to share kind of some of the feelings that I'm having about what I think it means to be you and embracing your weird. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I feel like lately, specifically this year, I've been just being more self-aware or hyper-aware of things that I do that might be a little bit considered not normal, or I think just being in the corporate space as well. I come from an untraditional background, starting in kind of the freelance space, and then working with creators and influencers, local businesses, and then the tech startup scene, and now the corporate scene. I think there's just a lot of the journey's been very interesting, and each kind of stage of life, I tend to learn more about myself, and how each time it seems like I'm trying to like conform and trying to, okay, what can I do to make sure that I'm impressing this person or speaking in a way that this person would appreciate, and all these things that you have to think about. And I'm like, I want to be so good at this. I want to be just like this person and how they talk, and they're so good. And I feel like lately, at least more recently, I've been feeling that a little bit more. And then I had to take a step back and just be like, why would I want to be like that person? Why would I want to be like not weird or not embrace the differences? Like, I want to be me, bottom line. I don't want to necessarily have to think about how I say things all the time. And I understand that there's situations and environments when you have to do that. And I have no problem doing that. I think, it's just, how can I find my voice in those moments where it might feel hard to do so? And I think like you experience this a lot growing up. From the moment I think you're born, you're kind of told and shuffled around and guided. It's to be like, hey, don't do this, don't do that. Hey, be more like this, be more like them. And I've certainly experienced a lot of that. For a little bit of context, for those who haven't checked out my channel and aren't too familiar, I have a lot of, and I'm sure everybody does, I have a lot of insecurities that make me super hyper aware, self-aware of some of these like unique challenges. So first off, one of the things that I struggle with a lot is I have like a prosthetic leg. And so sometimes there's like physical limitations with things. There's not with like my daily tasks per se, but there's just a different way I go about life, right? Because I have this. And growing up, it was a little bit hard, I will say, like at times, not all the time, just navigating like the challenges that came with that. There'd be times where I wasn't the strongest. I wasn't even close to being the strongest. I was close to being last when it came to like running the mile or in PE class and all those things like that. And then the other part of like a big challenge that I faced was just like my identity in general. So I'm adopted. My mom is half black, half white. My dad's white. My family, actually pretty like diverse background, but, and I think this wasn't really an issue growing up. I never really thought about like, oh, I'm Asian, they're not, things like that. I think it became more apparent as I started growing up and becoming more self-aware to those things. And then that was tough because, there's challenges that I would face that maybe they could not necessarily relate to, and vice versa. And then also I didn't have like a huge community that I could go to talk about some of those things. That made it a little bit difficult. I've always been kind of this way where I'm thinking about what other people are thinking about and how they're gonna perceive me. And it's a really tough way to go about life because you're always thinking about how you can impress them or please them. And at that moment when you're doing that, or like when I'm doing that, essentially I'm saying, how can I be less me? How can I be less like me? I don't want to be less like me. I want to be more like me in some ways. There's some things I can, totally find to get rid of. But that's what it kind of came down to, is like, oh, when I'm telling myself I need to stop doing this and just be perfect at this and be more like that, some of those are valid, but in other times it's, some of those things are totally fine to still exist, and you're like telling yourself, like, how can I be less like me? And as a professional overthinker for multiple years, I won't say the exact, multiple, I think I've only recently come to the realization that I just need to embrace it. Like, the thing too is that I think we think that other people can't tell when we're trying to be somebody we're not, but I think most people can tell. What I would say to that is, like, we can always improve, we can always be better, and it's always good to think about ways that you can improve. So don't ever stop doing that. That's not the point of the message. But there are other times when we can totally embrace our weird, because that's who we are. Maybe we do something that's a little different, and maybe that's the reason why you're at where you're at too. That's something that I forget too, is I keep thinking like, oh, maybe like now that I'm here I gotta do this and vice versa, but maybe I'm here because I'm like that and they like that, and so back to the prosthetic leg thing and my identity. There was a period of time where I just like kind of tried to avoid the conversations revolving around that when people would ask. Maybe I'd give them just a very simple answer, but now and also, sorry, sometimes I would also like wear pants because I didn't want to have those conversations with people. I didn't want to have to explain. I didn't want to be perceived any particular way or any less or any, just didn't want to have to think about it. But, I would say like last couple of years, I really strengthened that area, and now I embrace it. Now I'm like, yeah, I have it. That's me. That's who I am. Well, that's a part of who I am. It's not all of who I am. And I feel proud now of the thing that makes me different. I feel proud that I can be different and have this unique perspective on life. I think with the prosthetic leg part, it has certainly influenced the way I view life, the way I view a lot of things. I think it makes me a little bit stronger mentally. Growing up, I would just say things like, I would tell my parents, oh, I can't do that, I can't do this because I have my leg. they would always tell me, and I would actually even get in trouble sometimes. They would say, don't say you can't. Don't say you can't. I've gotten in trouble for saying that, oh, I can't do this. Anyways, that reinforcement was really helpful. But having this sort of setback, I think really actually set me up. And this sort of like what could be considered weirdness gave me a strength that you can't even manufacture. Or maybe you wouldn't even want to manufacture it, but you can't recreate this. You can't recreate the unique perspective that came of it. And then also my identity, right? My identity of like figuring out who I am. I think that certainly has influence. It certainly influences a lot of the way I view the world I think a little differently than some. Because I'm considering so many different perspectives. I grew up with my family and we lived such a different life. The goal of this video is to encourage you to think about what you think makes you weird, and what if you embraced it? Obviously, to an extent, but what if the thing that you're worried about, you actually champion that and act with confidence? I think you could do it. I would say it's really helpful too. It's been really helpful to just not have to worry about those things too. Like not having to think about what other people are thinking about and focusing on the mission that you have set for your life. So I know this is a little bit different format of a video, but wanted to keep it just real and raw and share just some of the thoughts that I've been having lately. Also, if I appear really low energy in this video, it's because I just got back from work and then did a workout, so I am pretty tired, but I wanted to make sure I get this video recorded. It's actually February 26th on a Wednesday. Also, thank you to Innocent for sending me the brand new monitor, which I was able to surprise my girlfriend with because the monitor that she uses is 10 years old. So here's a recap of that moment. Alrighty, what is up? Beautiful people. Today I've got a fun little unboxing for this video. We don't know what's inside of it, so we're gonna have to figure out. Let me get some skizzers. What could be in this big box? A box within a box. Ooh, okay. I think I know what this is. Oh shoot! Look at that. All right, I'm excited. Look at that. All right, so we're gonna set this up and see what it looks like. Let's go. All right, are you ready to see your new desk setup? All right, ready. Let's go. Yeah! Wow, the quality is crazy. How do you like it?
I like it.
The monitor turned out great. Thanks for sending it over. Thanks Innocent for helping me make that happen. This isn't a sponsored video. They just sent the product over. And so if you want to check out that monitor, you can. I'll drop the link in the description. I did not make any affiliate, so you can decide whatever you like to do. All right, if you liked today's video, subscribe. I hope you have a great rest of your week and embrace your weird. All right, see you in the next one. Peace.